So, welcome again for our ongoing videos on basic Buddhist mind training. That's how we could call it. Johan and I, we try to explain things in words, not using the usual terminology of long years of Buddhist transmission, but expressing everything in simple terms. And so far in the videos that we took, we have gone through a few steps already. In the first one, it was about being aware, the central role of awareness. And that it is from awareness that all the insights come, that this awareness is an awareness with an open heart, a warm heart. And from there we went to looking at the basic motivation for our practice, which is connected to the meaning we give to our life. Because that will decide where our awareness goes, how we direct our awareness. Our attention always follows our inner priorities. If our priority is, for example, in a situation to make everyone present happy, to take care of everybody like a mother in a family, then that's where our attention will be. We will check how everyone else is. If our motivation is to be happy ourselves, then this is where all our energy will go. So we clarified that basic motivation, that each one should find out what's really most important in life. And then, this was the second video, and then in the third video we went into the needs for practice, for training. Daily training, sometimes in-depth training, in a form of retreat, and giving oneself a practice structure. And within this practice, of course we will train awareness, of course we will direct our awareness where it is most important for us to go with our attention, so we will follow our basic motivation. And within that, there is a learning which takes place. And this learning is threefold, 3 steps: study, contemplation, meditation. Study involving hearing, listening, studying with text, studying with audios, videos, being with a teacher, then applying this to our own experience, contemplation, deep reflection on how it would be if I applied that which I have understood to myself, and new understandings will arise from that. And from the contemplation we move into meditation, which is the most, you can say, relaxed form of awareness, simply being there without entertaining further conceptual activity. From there we moved on to go into some very basic reflections. Basic reflections on our life. What a precious opportunity we have to be here right now, what all we can learn from any given situation, all of what can be appreciated about our situation. And this basic contemplation was then supplemented by contemplating the fact that this wonderful situation, which is a good opportunity to learn and to develop, to to open up, and even to liberate ourselves and others, that this opportunity is a changing situation. It is not going to last forever. It will finish. As every situation, it will change into something else. We don't know how much time we will still have this wonderful opportunity before we are pulled out into either a form of activity where we cannot reflect so deeply, cannot train in the way we can do now, or we simply have to leave this body. We die, so to speak. We go beyond this physical existence without knowing what will wait for us, but if experience continues, then this mind stream's habits will also continue. So the learning will take place somewhere else, not under these conditions. And we have investigated change a lot. I think this was the 4th video. And change is the biggest topic, you can say, of all Buddhist mind training, because it encompasses all of life. Life is change. Becoming, growing, things developing, is this dynamic of change, and of course, decaying, dissolution, changing into something else is part of that same process. And we could probably go on for years, huh?
Probably.
Well, no, maybe not bragging, I mean we would get tired of it. But change is actually not a process. This we haven't talked about yet. I want to talk about it now. Change is not the arising of something and then it is there, stable, and then later on it will disappear. It's not like that. Change is not giving birth, stability, and then decay, disappearance. Wherever we look, in the arising, there's already the passing away. Look, the sun. The sun is said to be rising. Actually, it's the turning of the planet. But in the rising of the sun, there's already the setting of the sun. It is simultaneously setting on some places of the earth and arising on others. And as it arises here, the movement includes already that it will be setting. The journey of the finger in space, imitating the sun. When did it start to set? It's a question of definition, right? You can say, well, it started setting only when it was getting down, but actually, if there hadn't been the other movement, it couldn't have been setting here. Now, I beg your pardon, didn't the sun, this imagined sun, already started to set when I was thinking about it? When I was having the idea to make this line? When did it start? Wasn't before this idea already the experience of looking at the sun? How far back do you want to follow change in order to find a beginning of a certain change? The idea is, and the reality is, that change is continuous. It's all the time happening, all the time. You cannot find a beginning. It's like with the hen and the egg. You cannot find a beginning. It's constantly. Our birth was not our beginning. It was before. Maybe it was at conception, but there was so much before conception. Maybe it's in the genes of our grandparents, but you can go always further back. When was the beginning? The conditions that lead to the occurrence of one situation they can be followed back indefinitely. Indefinite chains of appearance and disappearance. A paper, a sheet of paper. When did it start? When did it originate? Did it originate only when it came out of the press? Is it already in the tree and in the water and in the sun which produced the tree, which had to produce the tree, and the water which produced it? Where does it start? Did this paper originate back in Chinese times when the first people thought of paper? When did it start? You can connect it to so many causes and conditions contributing to this momentary appearance. And this is the same with everything. As it appears, it already disappears. This paper is already crumbling now, and soon it will be in the wastebasket and it will be gone. It will be burned soon, or it will be made into some other paper. So this is with everything. Change is simultaneously becoming and dissolving. It's not one after the other. In the becoming is the dissolving, because what is here now, you see the situation now, that now which I just said now, has to give way to the next now. You understand? If the now does not dissolve as it arises, the next now would have to wait until this now, please, you leave now. You leave, it's time for you to go. And now the next present can go. No, it doesn't happen like that. It's a continuous interwoven process where the light conditions, the air conditions, the ground conditions, the conditions of living beings, none of them wait for an order. Now it's time to go, the next instant wants to arrive. There are no instants. Instants are an artificial idea. There is no change in moments. It is a continuous flow. The flow, a multidimensional flow. And this multidimensional flow, which we call reality, this is the result of many, many forces being active. We call this interdependence. This was not in our program.
It was spontaneous.
Spontaneous.